The concept of the higher self has long been pontificated and debated for thousands of years, since the most ancient texts such as the Vedas to the most new age spiritual practices from the likes of Madame Petrova Blavatsky. But here on this show, you already know, we break the fourth wall. In this case, we're going to stand on the shoulders of giants and build upon the foundation that has been set on this particular concept that we are speaking about today. So come fly with the Falcon, baby. Come rock with me. Keep watching, because you're about to get some information. Again, I had to reiterate that this stuff is secret, bro, especially this topic. What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Heru's Perspective. This is Heru Nektash, and you already know, on this show, we get down, busy, and dirty with the high-dose mushroom technology. We talking about nothing under 10 grams, and we do this shit often, every 1 to 3 months, and we out here, we ain't going insane. Oh yeah, we good over here, you know what I'm talking about? Because I know that's the first thing that people say. And I want to make this clear because this is a whole journey that you go on. It's like the crazy shaman out there in the shack. You know what I'm talking about? You doing a practice. This is a for life thing. When you sign up to this, it's like damn near signing up to a gang. Ain't no way out after that one. You know what I'm talking about? After you see behind the veil, you can't see back. You must continue the story. Because it's a story, again, and it picks up where it left off. But the core of the story, you know, and it's what my channel is named after. You know, we're going to get into that during Heru's Perspective, but the core of the whole entire entheogenic journey is the concept of the higher self. But before we get into the concept of the higher self as it relates to the mushroom technology at the high dose, let's first do what we always do and bring this. Hey, we're going to bring this joint back to how they looked at it in the ancient times. We're going to look at it, how they look at it colloquially now, and kind of in the fantasy and the video games, how it's because it's in everything. So let's get into it. All right, so how does the general person look at the concept of the higher self? What are they saying generally in spiritual practices, religions, and things like that, as it refers to this concept that I'm bringing forth, that I'm saying is the core of pretty much everything? You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to spirituality, but I mean, everything's spiritual, so it's the core of everything. You hear me? You know what I mean? Follow the logic a little bit. But look, I'm going to bring up the chat GBT. So, and I asked it, what do people generally think about the higher self? And this is what it came up with. And also, I'm going to show a clip of, I like to show from the horse's mouth what they're talking about, because I could just say things and you may or may not believe it or whatever. But when it comes from the horse's mouth, it makes it, to me, it makes it more solidified. Look, this is what they're saying. I'm not saying it. It's not just me trying to beat up on nobody. And in this case, I actually agree with them. Oh, Lord, there's a first for everything, ain't there? Yeah, there's a first for everything. Because usually I don't agree with these new age people about nothing. But in this case, I do agree with them. But the issue is that it's incomplete. It's like I said, they done built kind of the foundation, or maybe the dirt under the foundation, and then we build in the house or on top of it. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into it. I'm gonna bring in the chat GBT and let's see what they're saying about this. Okay, so you see here, I don't ask chat GBT, what do the experts say is the higher self? It says the concept of the higher self varies across spiritual, psychological, and philosophical contexts, but generally it refers to a deeper, more enlightened aspect of one's being. So they're talking about a more enlightened version of yourself. At least that's a general thing. But look, in the New Age spiritual perspectives, in the New Age and esoteric traditions, the higher self is often seen as a divine, eternal part of an individual that exists beyond the physical. Self. It is considered a source of wisdom, guidance, and unconditional love. They love that love stuff. Eastern philosophy, Hinduism and Buddhism, which they very, very similar. I'm sorry, they pretty much damn the same. They have similar gods in them and everything. So they're going to talk about this the same too. It said often linked to the Atman in Hinduism, or the enlightened state. in Buddhism. It's the true self that transcends ego and material existence. See, I like this stuff. You know what I mean? Because all ancient spiritual systems had an entheogenic core to them from the beginning. It had to be that way because it can't. These entheogens were here before any book or anything. Come on, man. So, of course, they're talking this shit. And the New Age only got it from the Hindus, pretty much, and remixed a bunch of stuff from other practices as well, obviously. But a lot of it come from the Hindu stuff. So when you talking about higher stuff, you're talking about some Hindu stuff. And then you gonna bring up, look, Carl Jung, because he's very famous, especially in the entheogenic psychedelic space, because of his philosophical teachings and understandings. And how he talked about it was Jung referred to the self as a totality of the consciousness and unconscious mind. The higher self, in Jungian terms, could align with the archetype of wholeness or the individual self, which is achieved through self-realization and integration of the shadow. And this is the one that everybody, I feel like, at least who I talk to, they try to talk about it like the Carl Jung way. But if you really look at it, they're all saying the same thing. They're saying that there's this higher self that is all encompassing, that is your divine, most loving, most highest wisdom self. Carl Jung's is a little bit different, but I just think that's a little tacky because you ain't really saying nothing new. What? You're saying there's a subconscious and there's a conscious and a subconscious. I mean, that ain't nothing but anatomy and biology. You know what I'm talking about? So, but then he ends up saying the same thing. They said it could align with the archetype of wholeness or the individual, which is, but you're going to hear it in the clip that I play. It's the same thing, bro. I mean, whatever. Without further ado, let's pop that clip on.
So in this age, the term the higher self would be most related to what we know in mysticism as the Atma Buddhi. Now, the Atma Buddhi is a theosophical term that was given to us by Madame Blavatsky from Hinduism. When it got carried over into theosophy, however, there were some minor shifts, as you can imagine, with any terms. The Atma Buddhi, or what we call in this age, the higher self, is the first manifestation of a personality from the all, or from spirit. So that first manifestation of spirit would be what's considered the higher self, and even in some traditions, it would just be considered the oversoul. So sometimes in mysticism, the higher self and the oversoul are actually referring to the same thing. They're almost like interchangeable titles. And then sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're distinct differentiation between the oversoul and the higher self. Higher self being what we know in mysticism as Atma Buddhi, would be the vehicle. The higher self would be that first personality, that first vehicle, the vessel of spirit. And from the higher self, now we can incarnate from that first vehicle or that first personality into lower realms, into the physical realm, into an ego. So just like how our ego in this reality is our vehicle and our unique expression for our spirit, the higher self would also be a vehicle at a higher level, and it would also be its own personality of the all, of spirit.
Okay, so that was pretty much an overview of how they be looking at it, at least in the spiritual sense and context, where people actually, take it serious. Because these aren't the only places that you hear about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You also see it within video games, fantasy, animes, and Marvel. All those types of things. But they're all they more hold up. Here the issue. Those fantasies that I'm talking about, they be more real than the shit that they talking about. You know what I'm talking about? They're more accurate. Although, they ain't wrong. They done brought it up to a particular level as much as someone can without actually experiencing the higher self, because it's an experience, my friend. You know what I'm saying? So with the higher selves, I mean, you just look at something like Avatar. I'm gonna go more into depth with these things because they're actually way more right. It's gonna help me with when I'm trying to explain my perspective. So I'm gonna save more of that in depth for later. But things like the Avatar, things like Thor and Marvel, video games like Persona 5, animes such as Bleach, even Naruto, all these things got the information in them. See, because again, y'all keep looking into these spiritual books and stuff for the spiritual information when you don't understand that it's embedded within everything. So what they're talking about, why do I say that it is correct? Well, because they reached a point where they're talking about the higher self, but it's still kind of pseudo and airy. Yet, as pseudo and airy it still a lot of that stuff come from the older works. You know what I mean? And in the older works, they were using entheogens. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 14th mandala, they have the concept of the higher self in there when Arjuna drinks the soma. Of course, the soma, a mushroom drink, and what he gets connected with his transcendence, his higher self, his transdimensional form, his transcendent. It's the true sovereign yoga. Yoga is the yoking of the higher self and the lower self. And now, see, they right, because like when they talk about the ego and the super ego, I mean, you're still talking about like the brain. You're talking about the conscious and the subconscious. I'm not, and if you're talking about anything else, you're talking about the same thing as the other people, as this divine's amazing being, and then you got to fight your shadow self. I mean, that type of stuff is kind of is, bro. You want it to be so like mystical, when really, bro, like your shadow self. Like, what is this, like Zelda? You gotta fight your own self, Link. You gotta fight the Dark Link. Yeah, people be thinking that's what's happening, and I'm like, bro, I don't know what you talking about, bro. I'm just gonna be hunting with you, because people try to explain this shit. Your higher self, your mid lower self, and then your egoic lower self with your super ego. It's like, not like, yo, shut your ass up, man. See, I'm gonna make this shit simple, but it's also something that you ain't never heard, and it's also more real than whatever they talking about, because they can't even damn near explain it when they trying to tell you, bro. See, because when they talk about it, there's no connection. And you can see it when they talk about it, even in the video that I play. She ain't got no like soul in it when she talking about it, because she ain't really experiencing nothing. You just talking about things that you hadn't heard before that sound nice, and you just regurgitating it, which is cool, fine, and dandy. I know people love it. It's not like the information totally wrong, but it's incomplete. I keep saying it's incomplete because you're missing the entheogenic portion, which enlivens every goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? So and this is no different. You know what I mean? I have a video on the crystals. Yes, it's the connecting point. It's the missing puzzle piece literally to everything. I'm sorry, but the high dose mushroom, the puzzle piece I don't care if you're talking about ancient civilizations. I don't care if you're talking about UAPs right now. I don't care if you're talking about the ancient relics that they stole. I don't care if you're talking about racism. I don't care if you're talking about nothing, boy. All the missing pieces is the mushroom, bro. All your technology. Like, come on, bro. So this is no different. The concept of the higher self. All right, y'all. Now let's get into Heru's perspective, baby. And this one's gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna do the overview on how I look at the higher self, right? And how it connect with the high dose mushroom. But then I'm gonna give the experience, which is an autobiography, pretty much of how I found it out. You know, I'm here to get the experience, to pound away at the claim. Ultimately, you could go see yourself. So that's the ultimate proof. I don't want to debate nobody. Debate the mushroom. It's right there. So, what is the higher self? How do I look at it? You know, doing these doses, going in hard, and doing that work, and really crossing over. What is it? What? Let's start. Okay, so they said that this is the divine, higher, eternal, higher wisdom, higher dimensional level of yourself. Now, they ain't wrong. You know what I'm saying? They are not wrong in this point. It's just it's incomplete. Now, you say you have a higher dimensional form, but you can't conceptualize of it. And they're not claiming to be fair. But I am. I am, motherfucker. You hear me? Yeah, because the whole thing about this, and the whole thing about these high dose mushrooms, in all reality, one is to travel the hyperdimensional realms, to travel the mystery, to go into the triple thick darkness, the alone into the alone, right? But what are you going in there as? Because when I hit these high doses, I'm ragged all over there. So I ain't walking around with like this with me. But I'm going to all these places, doing all these events, and all these things are happening, and I'm meeting entities, doing this, that, and the third. On these high dose excursions, you know, going to super cities. But besides all that, it's the core. It's what are you traveling as? You know what I mean? You're going through all these experiences. What's the vehicle? If you go here, what's the vehicle? Now, this is also going to touch on the concept of the soul, because it's called the soul craft. Now, get with me, because the mushroom also verified a soul. We done talked about the crystal in the last episode and how you got to shrink down. Why? Because your soul is sub-quantum, and you see yourself shrinking down, going inside the motherfucking crystal. And then there's all information that you can repeatedly go back and get with. So, again, you're traveling as your soul, but what is the soul? You know what I'm saying? It's verified because you got to travel as something, logic. So you could call it consciousness, you could call it spirit, you could call it soul. I don't care what you call it. Every culture gonna have a different name anyway. It's not like everybody's saying soul. So, but we talking about the same damn thing. You're talking about the oversoul. But let's get into that. So this is where it come in. I'm trying to put it together. So the soul, let's just look at the soul for now as like this ball, right? The soul, like a ball that travels around. It's the soul craft. This craft is this ball, right? You are the ball. Now, the ball would be the oversoul, right? They got that wrong. The girl in the video talking about the oversoul is like a synonym for the higher self. Untrue. It go like this. It's the Trinity. The Holy Trinity is actually correct. This is what I mean by these religions are in code, because when you utilize the high doses and really go through these experiences time and time again, you see who got it right and who got it wrong. Now, the Trinity actually perfectly conveys the higher self and the higher self and lower self and the oversoul. Check it. So you got the Father, the Son, and then the Holy Spirit. The Father is who? The higher self. The Son is the lower self. And then the Holy Spirit is the oversoul. Because really the higher self and the lower self is just one. They're the same. They're one and the same. It's like a trick that we play. It's a game we play. The ego and the higher self. The lower self is the ego. That's what everybody call the ego. Then you got the higher self, which is the shit they talking about. That eternal, very high wisdom, divine, super higher dimensional being, higher dimensional version of yourself. The divine higher dimensional version of yourself. Now, the ego is just your NPC character within the simulation. That's all the ego is. It's me right here. This is me. Boom. But then it gets confusing because we're dealing with paradoxes. Then you got your higher self. Now, this is what we talk about, right? This is the topic. The higher self, bro, is an actual entity. Golly. Bro. Like, get with this. Now, Let me explain. Back to the Trinity. He said the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But what the Father's name? We know the Son name. His Son name is Jesus. Okay, Jesus. My name Gabriel, right? His higher self name, but what's God's name? What do they call God? The Elohim or El or Yeshua or Allah, whatever you all want to call it. Christ consciousness. I don't give a fuck. They all the same. I know y'all religious people be mad at me if you see this and I say that. But you ain't gonna tell someone you meet someone like me that you ain't talking about the whole. You ain't trying to talk about the same thing. Y'all confused. You know what I'm saying? So you're the Father, the Son, Yeshua. So Yeshua is the higher self. Different name. Jesus the lower self. Different name. But what do they say? He said, I'm the Son of God. I am God. And y'all confused. Like, how is God walking? How is that possible? I'm saying, bro, we done cracked that motherfucking code, bitch. And then let me finish, because in the Holy Spirit is an over-encompassing soul. Yeah, that ball. Let's just say it's that ball for now, because I'm gonna do a whole video on the soul. But the higher self, this stuff is experience, by the way. I'm not just reading off no book, bro. That's the thing about this shit. This is from the. I'm giving you straight from the mushroom. There ain't no book, bro. This is my first time looking this shit up. So I said it's an entity. If Jesus higher self, if I'm looking at it like a sorcerer, like a Jedi, like I am, I would say the only way this happened, if Jesus was real, he would have to use some type of psychedelic or entheogen, probably when he went to Egypt or those times when he disappeared and gained his knowledge. He connected with his higher self, with his Yeshua, and started bringing the higher self down to the lower self, which is how God walk with man. Because you merge in the higher and lower self, the yoking of the higher and the lower self, the yoga, it's the core of everything. Because wow, imagine your name Jesus. Now just imagine it. Imagine your name Jesus. You eat some mushrooms, and then you start talking to a motherfucker named Yeshua. But Yeshua or Yahweh or whatever, Yahweh is saying, "Hey, bro, like, and you talk, this is this amazing divine being. You don't think it got nothing to do with you, but you feel like it's been guiding you. But then now you're talking to him directly. Boom. And he's talking to him, and he's delivering him information about Yahweh, about or whatever you want to call about God, to the Son of God. It's a download. He take the mushroom, you get the information, he starts speaking it or doing it. Him curing the motherfucker with the eye, him walking across the water or whatever, walking on water. That's all stuff that can be done with the utilization of these entheogens. That's why we laugh, we joke, we call him a level 1 sorcerer. But that ain't the only time you see it. Again, the Avatar. The Avatar is saying the same thing. The Avatar is a transdimensional super being that gets downloaded into the earth, and he gets incarnated as the Avatar. He got to remember who he is as his Avatar, as the Avatar's guiding him and all his other past Avatar lives. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with multidimensionality and we're dealing with this type of stuff. Now, I'm trying to give you an overview of what this thing is. Again, I want to reiterate for the 100th time. It is an actual entity. When you see Carl Jung talk about it, I'm sorry, is what I mean. They're not talking about it like an actual entity. If they were, then they would be talking about the entity. You hear me? But they're talking about it as this airy-fairy kind of thing. Oh, this high stuff, which they're looking in the right direction. And I'm not trying to hate on them like that. I'm just saying we got to stand on the shoulders of giants. We got to take it up. I'm just taking it up a notch. You know what I'm saying? So how do I know this? I said from experience. Well, if that were true, let's say Jesus' higher self is Yahweh or God, whatever. What's my higher self? My name Gabriel. When I eat these mushrooms and I go to the other side, specifically when I started the 579 gram protocol, which is the protocol to get you into this game, if you don't know, I'm finna drop a book on it. But when you go through this protocol and you got the crystal with you, at least that's what from my experience, the story begins. But what is the story? I always talk about that this high dose journey and the journey of the Jedi is a whole ass story that pick up from where it left off. You know what I'm saying? My next trip gonna pick up right off from my last one, just like the one before that did too. But the whole story and the core of it is about the higher self, about remembering who you are. It's a sophistry of remembrance. But it ain't just remembering, because you remembering as you learning, as you being taught. It's a multi-dimensional thing. Nothing in this game is one thing. So, without further ado, so who my higher self? Who could it possibly be? You know, it's so funny. People still be confused. When I bring it, they're like, "Damn, they don't guess it." Even though my whole my whole shit's about it is why I'm talking. This is why I'm talking. But anyways, I'm going to introduce him. My higher self, every time I go in and cross over to that other side on these doses, and even here right now, whether the name the same or different, my higher self is... Heru, Nektash. Hey, yo, that boy crazy, yo. I thought that boy loco. Hey, man, but that's what all my Instagrams is. Heru, Nektash, Horus. Yes, the motherfucker on the goddamn walls, bro. Yes, that mask right there, the one I had on. Yes. This is about that time. But first of all, I ain't the only one. That's why, again, you can hear my girl tell her story about her beginning of understanding and remembering about this type of information. You know what I'm saying? But it's the core, because that's who you travel as. And then what? If you traveling as this entity, I mean, and they told you this shit was fake, but well, god damn, boy, I'll tell you something. If they all saying Heru fake, they all saying Horus is fake, he's just some mythical thing. They're looking at the sun or praising the sun or some bullshit like that. Whole time, motherfucker, real. So real, motherfucker, I'm it. Ain't not one finna tell me nothing, dog. I've been doing this shit too long, bro. Close to a decade, dog. Regularly, every single time I go in. But the whole story about me, remembering. It's an eternity of remembering. It's the game we play. It's multiple things, but one of them is the game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, So let me just give a definition before I give my experience. Because I'm gonna give the autobiography of how I found out about my higher self. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give the story of how all that happened. But I want to get a clear definition. Your higher self is a transdimensional entity. Is your soul's it's a personification of your soul in an entity form that travels the multiverse. And not only does it have language, it has dance, it has culture, it has houses and families that it's a part of, it has secret societies it's a part of, it has objects, weapons, it has entertainment, it got a phone, it got when they say life continues, that there's life after death, bro, this is what we're talking about. You walk as your higher self and you continue on that walk that you was doing for eternity, and you continue on it after you pass. This is the life after death, dog. And not only that, you know what I'm saying? You download the higher self to this realm. I just did the video on the crystals. So you take the high dose mushroom, you connecting with your higher self because you got the crystal. It saves your shit, and then you continue on this story of remembrance, remembering what weapons you got, and remembering what your favorite songs was, the genre of music you listen to. We're talking about the shit on the other side. We're not talking about this dimension. See, everything they talking about pretty much is on this dimension, the subconscious, the lower conscious. Dude, had nothing to do. When you there, ragdoll, your body ain't there. This earth and shit ain't there. This 3-dimensional 5-sense reality that y'all obsessed with is not here no more. Or you ain't getting access, mo. You hear me? But, so that's pretty much a good overview. I just want to drive a point away that it is the core of the whole high dose journey. You know what I mean? Because it's so important. It's so important. I was talking about I was gonna bring Marvel and the Avatar. How important is it that Aang is the Avatar? Everybody going, they all trying to train him. Here they just leave you in the dust, but there they all, oh, you gotta go here, learn this, remember this. You gotta remember Aang. And he go into the spiritual realm to go talk to them and go fight. Remember, there's a time where he go find one of his versions of his higher self, and the guy's like, bro, you don't want none of this. I've been fighting these demons for as longer than your brain can postulate, can conceive of. You know what I'm saying? You don't want this life. And all those aspects that he comes across within that show, they're all true. Other than the woman thing, bro, I ain't no woman. People say, oh, consciousness or God has no gender. Well, bitch, a soul does. And here's another thing. If a soul is eternal, by definition, it has no creator. If a soul is eternal, then by definition, it has no creator. Better yet, your God don't even know where he came from. And so, I just want to let you know, that is the grand mystery. Where did this thing come from? This soul thing, this higher self thing. Where did I come from? Ain't nobody got no answer. This is the mystery. One of the grand mysteries that's part of the grander mystery. You know what I'm saying? If I had the answer, I'll tell you. I don't fucking know. We came from magic, bro. A soul, we don't know, bro. It did not get created. And we seen yo gods and shit. But anyways, now let me give my story on how I found out about the higher self, and just so y'all can see how this shit kind of work. And then again, my girl gonna give hers. So you see 2 versions of how this shit kind of work, bro. And then when we talk, you gonna see it sounds similar to some shows and shit. Ain't sound no damn religion, man. Other than them Vedas when they drank the soma. Just shows transdimensional form. This is what he's saying. They've been saying this forever. And it's been connected with entheogens forever. The higher self, the transdimensional form, an entity. Again, bro. So my entity and who I travel with, who I am, is Heru Nektash. I mean, my name is Gabriel. Look up the name on your damn self. Gabriel means hero of God. Where's hero come from? Come from Heru. Everybody fucking know this shit, bro. Yeah, I'm talking about the synchronicities. Because I can get boogie down from my name all the way to my toe. Play with me, dog. I could give all the synchronicities about Heru and me and shit like that. I could go all day about that shit, but that's not what this is about. And that's not even important, bro. Because it is what it is. Me, I ain't finna debate that every single time I go in, I'm him. And that more of him don't get downloaded into me. That's why I throw the signs. That's why I do the dance. That's Heru's dance. Coming with other shit. You're just going to see Heru, and it's going to be more and more and more and more as more downloads into me, or the more I remember, however you want to look at it, the more Heru you're going to, bro, it's already undeniable if you're looking. But again, that's not the point. The point is to show that other people probably got higher selves. I mean, our enemies damn sure do. You know what I'm saying? They got higher selves. They got different names. They got higher self names, bro. So I ain't the only one. So And this has been a secret. This is what these Africans be doing. You know, this is what true shaman be doing. All right, y'all. So without further ado, let's get into how I found out that I was Heru Nektash, or colloquially who they call Horus. Now, I can't get into this story about finding out and connecting with my higher self without getting into the background on how I first heard about or even thought about this concept, because it helped usher me into the journey, you know. And of course, it goes back to, again, Ahati Kalindi, where he spoke about taking a high dose and meeting his child before it was born, his unborn child, and speaking with it, his higher self, and bringing that entity here. And you know, the kid, you know, he exists. You know, this is a real thing that I seen, and I was very interested in it. And I was like, wow, I never heard of that concept. So he brought the guy's soul here, or something like that. I'm like, brush it to the side for the moment, because it's still, that stuff's going over my head. All this is new and wild information, and at the time I'm just getting started. So anyways, that was just the first instance that I heard about it. But you know, let's get into the story. So basically, I'm gonna give like the main events that had happened that that showed me who my higher self was, because then after that, you're not wondering. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you ain't wondering who your higher self is. It's not this self, oh, who am I type thing. You're now on to the next phase, which is, how do I be? So, anyways, let's start from the beginning. You know, so Kalindi E has the 579 gram protocol, high dose protocol, and where you take 5 grams and you wait a month. Take 7 grams and then you wait a month, and then you take 9 grams and then you wait a month, and then you keep upping your dose over time, upping by 2 to 3, doing it with a sitter those first 3 times, and if you could keep using it if you want, but if you feel safe, then you go it alone, because this is a solo journey. You want to get rid of that sitter at a certain point. So anyways, I was following the directions, and in my first 5 gram trip, I had my crystal with me, this transdimensional. If you didn't see that video I did before, I did a video on these crystals, man. So I had this transdimensional crystals that I got from my Hati Clean to Eat throughout the whole entire, when I started that 579 gram protocol into the high dose journey. So I was doing entheogens and all that prior to that. I've been doing entheogens since I was 17, been doing them a bunch, but never like this. It all changed when this is where it began, this is where it changed. So the first instance, the first event that happened was in my first 5 gram trip. And it's so crazy because I wrote it on here a bit later, but I wrote it on Arrowwood, because I was searching for a while to find any trips that were even similar to that. And that was just my first 5 gram trip, because I was already confused. Like, what the fuck? Ain't nobody told me that this shit go like this. You know what I'm talking about? It got real alien. You know what I'm saying? So basically, what I'm about to do is I'm going to bring up the Arrowwood trip report. Ain't that long, because I only put the core part, which is perfect, because this is what I'm talking about here. It goes with the higher self. I'm going to connect it all. You'll see. But this is the first instance. I'm gonna bring it up right now. I'm gonna read it, go along with it together. Okay, so you see that I have it up here. This is my trip report. I think it was like 2018, 2019, something like that. I did the trip in like 2018, early 2018, but I think I published it 2019. Don't matter. But here, let's read it together. Look, this young go crazy, bro. This is the first fiver, bro. This shit go alien. You hear me? So look. Let's get it. Okay, so I started with it like this. I said, I'm not a great writer, but I will attempt to try and describe what happened to me after eating 5 grams of dried cubensis. Also, I'm curious if anybody has had a similar experience, because I'm unable to find any trip reports matching something similar to this. Already, I couldn't find, it was already different than what people was talking about everywhere on the internet, bro. This is why I wrote this, to see if someone will reply and see if anything's similar. So anyways, let's continue. I won't speak about the whole trip, as it's not important. It's just the bizarre part. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm in the middle of my trip. Listen to this. And suddenly I get a pressure pulsating in my head. It's the same pressure that occurs when I yawn. The pressure kept pulsating very rapidly and more intense with each wave. It was like whoom, 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 whoom. Yeah, more intense and shit. I don't remember. It was crazy. And I had my hand. This is like, it wasn't even a come up. It just went like this. It said, I had my hands on my head as it was really intense. Yeah. And something extremely bizarre happened. My consciousness like exploded. It was, it exploded. That's a good way to like a gusher. And I could see these cicada looking entities looking and inspecting me. They were everywhere. They were hyper intelligent. I felt as though I cracked out of an egg that was inside of one of those things and was born. That everybody is in these eggs, and if you ready, you hatch, and this is transcendence. This is what I was being told. Nothing really others haven't heard, but then I experienced it. Yeah, you thought that was just it, boy. Then I experienced, because that's how the trip go, bro. You thought that, yeah, the second half is what go crazy. Ready? It says a fucking interdimensional cicada baby or something latched onto me and took over my head. I felt it all, the antenna, the little hair things that wiggle where your nose would be. Then they started to communicate through me. The language was like this. Different pressures of air going in and out of each nostril at different times and frequencies. The antennae areas would literally wiggle in my head, sucking in air through my nose like it's trying to clear mucus. Remember my trip report, dog, when I fought the interdimensional being, and he's still talking about mucus. It's so funny I'm reading this because it connect even back. You see what I'm saying? I'm still on the game, bro, and this is how things connect. I'm showing you, cup. This should be live sometimes, bro, because this is how it go. I'm clearing the mucus sounding like click because it wasn't just in, it would do something similar outward, like it was trying to push out mucus. Then that same yawning pressure would be used consistently. Yeah, it was like a keyboard right here. It's like if I press the space key or the enter key when I'm typing to you on the computer on AIM or what I'm saying AIM, how old am I? Messenger, whatever, chat using Discord, boom. You press the enter key, that's what the pressure would be. It would do all these clicks in and out of the nose. I can't do it, but it's been in and out each nose. And I said cicada, and it's funny, I look now, it's not a cicada as much as it was the dung beetle. And they say the dung beetle is the beginning of the spiritual journey. If you read all that Kemetic stuff and the Egyptian stuff or whatever, they always say that it symbolizes the beginning of the spiritual journey. But it ain't no symbol, boy. This shit real. See how they kind of right, but it's actually real. Because I say cicada, this shit real, bro. I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm telling you, bro. I'm like a motherfucking goddamn alien ass cicada ass super intelligent ass thing. Like it like hatched onto me. But later it's gonna connect because you can be like, oh, it hatched on you, and say hatch on you, but it's gonna connect because there's no beginning, there's no the whole story. So anyways, let's continue. That all of those different things were done in conjunction, and it was 100% a language, like 1000% a language. Look, by the way it was done. Also, you would get responses from other entities that are there. They are in constant communication with each other, and I was in the middle of it all. They would even joke together like my cicada was literally laughing. Insane. Next, they were trying to teach me how to speak their language. I know 3 things. Bro, I don't even remember this budget. Go crazy. I didn't even read this before I put it up. But I said, if you suck in through your nose once and let it click. Yeah, it was like that. If you hear that, you do that, but in a different nose. That was the click. And then breathe. Yeah, go. Yeah. I remember. Oh my God. Yeah, that's hello. Yeah, see? Yeah. Anyways, 2, a succession of in and out breathing through the nose. In, out, in, out, in. Then that's like some type of way of saying you're part of the tribe. Because this is a secret society, it's all genetic. That's what I keep saying, bro. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that was it. I remember this shit, bro. And they were telling me that some tribe shit, bro. Like, yeah, like you part of the clan. Yeah, I probably shouldn't even be saying this or doing that, bro. That's how it is, but it don't matter if y'all don't believe this shit, so it don't matter. And it's not like there's many codes that go along. It's not just that. You think that's the easiest password ever. You know what I mean? Anyways, don't downplay it. Anyway, so not quite sure, but they made sure I knew how to do it because it made I may need it at some point in my life, question mark. 3, the pressure in my head is used as a send button. See, I already said that. Among other things, because not these things are never one dimensional. You know what I'm saying? I always say that. And then right after that, I was sober, bro. It was the fastest trip I've ever seen or ever had since. Bro, it was 1 hour. It took me in there, and mind you, it was like a hive mind. So this is the beginning of it. The higher self, how this thing latched onto me uh right after. But I never left. Anytime, see, this is important. I never left. Anytime I trip, it comes back and is with me on the trip, doing similar things, more like a companion or something now. This is the beginning, bro. This shit, I wrote this shit. I didn't just write this shit. You know what I'm saying? I just wrote this shit. So this is the beginning because it grows. Your high, so it's a journey of remembering who you are and becoming, bro. It's complicated. So you got a elder higher self, a Heru though, or at least I do. This is my story. Everybody's is different. Don't expect to be born out of an A, even though I said that. Everybody has a different vantage point. Everybody go different. This is just a one story. So you're gonna hear again. You heard my girl already, or if I put it after, you're gonna hear it. It's different, but the same things happening, bro. Different vantage points. So don't try to look at my experience and have the same one. Is what I'm more so trying to say. So, but you see this. You see how it's a companion now. It's like because you're gonna see. It's almost like you're dealing with two different things. Even when she do it, it's like, I'm talking to my higher self. I'm talking to her. It's like it's something separate. When in reality, it's not. It's again the games we play. So anyways, that was my first 5, and that's what happened. And I came back in 1 hour, the fastest trip ever. Super sober, went to the gym, still clicking a little bit, but other than that, I had no visual. I didn't feel weird, nothing. I felt like sober. So, anyways, let's go on to the next one. What the hell? Oh shit! Hey yo, that's why Jet. Hold on 1 second. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt the interview. Hello? Oh, you here? Oh, bet. Yo, why Jet's here? Yo, so yo, pop it. I'm about to pop why Jet on right now. She's here right now. Just got the call.
Hey guys, it's Wajet Nektash. I'm here today to discuss the topic, the higher self. And I'm definitely in agreement of what Heru's talking about and how the mushroom definitely helps you, not even help, it's there to connect you to your higher self. And that's really, to me, since I've been taking the mushrooms, that's really the main purpose. It's for you to align with your higher self, for you to be symmetrical to your higher self, bring your higher self down here. And I'm just going to tell you guys about my trip and the first time I connected with her and how it was, how it made me feel. And yeah, so me connecting with my higher self, the first time, it was actually my second trip. And how it happened was, I'm just going to give you guys like the key points, the key moments, but I'm gonna still try to give you guys everything. But how it happened was, okay, I took the mushrooms, I came in here, I laid down on the edge of the bed, and then I closed my eyes and it was just like pitch dark. And then I just started seeing all these hieroglyphics floating down like this, just like boom, boom, like it was scanning my DNA, which it was. And then they're just saying like, oh yeah, he's right, talking about Heru, because Heru always talks about the the DNA and how it's so important, how your genetics are so important. That's like, he always discusses that. So boom, so that was happening. So they're telling me like, oh yeah, he's right. Oh, so they're basically saying like, oh, he's right about the DNA. You need to look into your DNA. That's the exact words that they told me. They're like, you need to look into your DNA. You need to look into the Egyptian snake woman. That's what they said. Look into the Egyptian snake woman. And as they're telling me to look into the Egyptian snake woman, the scenes were changing. Like I was going through like the Sphinx, the pyramids. I was in Egypt. I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god. So I asked the question, and the reason why I asked the question, this specific question, was because I had got like a message from like my ancestors, who I thought was my ancestors, but now I think, well, I know it's my higher self, and it basically told me like to get an all black snake. So I asked about the snake during my trip. So I asked like, so what am I supposed to do with this all black snake? They literally laughed. Like they thought it was like not a real question that I asked. So they're like, bro, you already know what to, they literally said that. They're like, you already know what to do with the snake. So as they're telling me like, you already know what to do with the snake, the scene changes to me, my higher self. And she's wearing, now that I think about it, oh my God, that went over my head. You guys, she was wearing this all black dress and it was covering her face. I mean, her hair, and it was only showing her face. And I believe she had like, it was like super long. It when she had these long black nails on. That's so crazy. That went over my head. Like she was down there dressed like an all black snake. But yeah, and then it showed her and the cobra surrounded around her, and she was doing magic. She was going back and forth, boom, boom, boom. And I guess the magic she was doing, or the spell she was doing, it was like a cleansing spells or something like that. Because in the next living room, it was like cleansing out Heru. And if you guys want to go hear that story, it's on my channel. Watch at Nektash. But yeah, so that's what happened. That's when the first time I got to see her, but I didn't really get to see her face because as she was doing the magic, you guys, like the magic from her hands, like it was like smoke, was covering her face. So I just seen her doing it, boom, boom, boom. She's in the middle, and the cobras around her, surrounded around her, were like dancing, but it changed because they were trying to cleanse whatever was in this house. They were trying to cleanse, so they started throwing up this green stuff. And like I said, if you guys want to hear that story, just go to @watch at Nektash on YouTube. So that was my first time connecting with her, and actually getting to see her in full form, basically. And it really happened so quick, you guys. Like it really did. It happened super, super quick. So that's how I feel about it. I definitely know it's a true fact. The mushrooms are definitely going to show you who your higher self is. That they're going to tell you what you need to be doing and how you should be doing it. And they're going to make sure you're aligning with that person. That's the purpose, for you to align with your higher self. You're not down here to just be a damn sim character. You need to align with the person that's behind the screen, or like, I don't know how to really explain it, but like it's like you have to, they want you to be symmetrical with that higher self. That's how it is. Like that's the purpose of taking these mushrooms, is to connect and to get comfortable with your higher self, because it's not going to work if you're not comfortable with your higher self, because then you're not going to be believing like, oh, what they're telling me, oh, you're supposed to be doing this, and you have to believe like, oh, do this. You have to what's that word, what am I trying to say, I don't know, but you have to believe. Like you got to get comfortable. You have to make that bond. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to make that bond with them so you can believe, like that intuition. Like I just like really put that together. Like your intuition, you guys, like when you guys have those, oh, this gut feeling, like don't do this, or like those, the first mind, that's your higher self telepathically speaking to you. Like that's not a joke. Like that's, definitely take that into consideration, because that's exactly what that is. Like, and you have to trust it. And that's the purpose of these mushrooms too. You have to trust. Like that's what I'm saying. Make that bond, make that connection. Ask questions. Like don't always go on autopilot. Like ask those questions. Like make that connection, because you want to build a strong bond. Like this is like building a bond with somebody like you're in a relationship with. You want to have that strong connection. So yes, definitely, I'm definitely in agreement with Heru about the whole higher self thing, because it's definitely a thing and it's definitely true. And I almost forgot that part out. I always see him over there, like all the time, all the time. I'm just gonna leave it off at that. And if you want to see more of my channel, I'm at Wajet Niktosh, and I'll see you guys later.
All right. So that was my 5 gram, and now I hit the 7 gram, going along with that protocol. And why are these important? These are the first ones I have on my crystal, and it's already showing that higher self stuff. That cicada was the baby version of my higher self, because you're becoming your future higher self. He's like growing over time as I trip. And like I said, it stuck with me for multiple trips because it's a story. And I'm also trying to show how it picks up how it left off or whatever, how it continues and how it picks up. So onto my 7 gram. Now my 7 gram, I'm gonna make this quick because I'm not here to tell the whole trip stories. I'm here to give the events that showed who my higher self was, the key events out of all these trips, the key ones. There's many more. So, and these are just the beginning. This 579 is just the beginning, kind of setting the stage type shit. Because I'm not getting no Heru stuff right now. You have to understand, not thinking about no Egypt. I'm not thinking about no Falcons. I'm not thinking about none of that type of stuff. All I'm thinking about is what the fuck is this alien ass cicada ass shit. Looking on the internet, going crazy. So boom, I do my 7. I'm like, this is crazy. I think I even emailed Baba Kalindi. Yes, I did. Damn. I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that one though. But basically, I told him to sit. Yeah, and he was like, go deeper. He's like, stop being scared. Go deeper. I didn't say anything because. Yeah, shit don't attach to you. So, anyways, let me not say that. But anyways, 7 on to the 7. This was a bunch happened in the trip, but basically the core of it was that it was an introductory. It was an event. It was a giant ass. Hey, yo, bro, it was a giant ass motherfucking party, dog. And it was it was an alien ass party. And basically, the first half of the trip, I had to heal. So I'm just gonna say that. So, but it was after the healing, I was literally in the bathroom and I'm taking a shit and I'm throwing up at the same time. I can't even lie. And then I go and as I'm yo, I can't even lie. As I'm pushing the last of it out, these entities start rising from the bathroom floor type shit everywhere, but smiling like almost on some cartoon type shit. They're entity munchkins, all types of different ass shit. I'm like, what the fuck? But I can't do nothing because like I'm on the toilet. So then boom, when I get it out, it exploded and I'm in a whole party. Like it was like a gushers of colors, music. The music started playing, the genre that we always talk about. I'm gonna go deep on the music on another video, but the genre of the music came and all the aliens just popped up and they're all partying. So when people talk about are the aliens, bro, from the beginning I'm getting entities and aliens. I'm talking about teleporting grays behind me. I'm looking at the mirror, he's there, boom, there, boom, there, boom. Then he's right behind me, boom, but he's cool. You know what I'm saying? There's little munchkin motherfuckers I can't explain that are jumping around everywhere. Little mushroom headed motherfucker, bro, all types of aliens. Like it was like the Rick and Morty episode when they have the transdimensional party and they're like in the house, but they're in a different dimension. There's all these crazy, zany looking crazy ass characters, but they party and they getting lit. And I'm literally like the DJ of the shit. Like I'm on my bed, literally, like, and there's like a DJ set there pretty much. And I'm DJing the party at some point going crazy. And my trips are at some point coming, are you good? And I'm in the middle of like jumping on the shit. So what I'm trying to say is that even at the time I didn't understand it because all this come back. Even the first one I don't understand it, but it come back because it's an introduction. First you were hatch out the egg, then it's the introductory party. Hey, you made it, woo, you made it. And then we move on to the 9 gram. Really it was just an extremely high dose of LSD lysergic, and because I didn't have the fruit at the time, so I was like, let me do the highest amount. It was like 1,300 or 1,500 microgram. I forgot. But it was enough. Why? Because it was important. Why? I had that Kundalini awakening that everybody talk about. Well, you only finna get the true Kundalini awakening on this type of stuff. I mean, what? And it was 2 hours of pure ecstasy in the shit like awake the twirl, what I call the wiggle awakened. That's where you get the dance from and everything. The wiggle awakened. But the Kundalini, so if you know this in the spiritual stuff, they always say the Kundalini awakening is how you begin your like transcendence. It's how you get to the next level. That's what everybody's trying to do. The Kundalini yoga and Kundalini breathing exercises. Well, this is it, and this activated it. Boom, 2 hours pure ecstasy. Everything they did describe times a million. It was amazing. And why is this important? Because it's the next step of the higher self of activating it. Because then at the end of this trip, again, I'm not gonna tell the whole trip or even the Kundalini, because I want to hammer home the higher self thing. It was just that activated. Then these two-leg African black women at with because they had afros, they're black, but they're like alien, transdimensional alien, but they're black women, and they're by the sliding door in the back. And I seen them both come in, and I was with my trip sitter, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my god, there's like some black girls at the door. What the hell? Because they're so real, dog. And they're like beckoning me. And then when I come out, I was freaked out. I kind of like jumped back. I remember. Then I come out, and then instead of talking to me, they basically show me almost like a painting. That the painting gave all the information. That the painting pretty much was telling me that you are this and you are this. But this pretty much, or this came from this. But this was like the flower of life, those circles. And this was just some other thing I could only draw. But it was basically saying this is like the simulation NPC version of you, and this is the real you or whatever. But they're really both you, not the real you, but the higher version of you. They're both you, bro. You know what I mean? But there's a distinction because then the flower of life ended up covering the other half, but under it, like how do you say it? Like it was transparent, kind of behind it, type shit. It was in the background, but it covered it. It was, but anyways, trying to show a message. But basically, the point of that was that it was clearly showing me that yes, you're this transdimensional alien ass thing, and you're this human ass thing or whatever, NPC, whatever you want to call it. Thing in the simulation, your lower self and higher self. Pretty much, that's what's happening, right? You know, but don't get it confused. You one of these things, boy. Play with me. So now let's get into where it really starts getting juicy, where it really starts revving up. Because this one is when I activated these hand signs. Now, I'm not going to go in too deep in the hand signs or the activation of it. But for the fact that when I was throwing them, the baby versions, I didn't know what was going on, dog. But I felt and was in a state of mind, in state of consciousness or level of consciousness where I felt in my head, I felt like an Anunnaki. I just seen YouTube videos. I didn't like study them, but this is what I could connect it to and how it felt. Like the way they was talking. I don't know how to say it. Like when he talked, it vibrated, but it was like on some godly mode type shit, on some divine being mode. I felt like like Shiva. I remember feeling like Shiva. Basically the state of consciousness, like that I only heard about in the tales. But anyway, so I'm throwing them, and that's not the point. It was just that I felt like this higher self thing. You know what I'm saying? It's your divine version of yourself. So I felt it. And at the same time, I'm throwing these things that I can't believe I'm throwing. And as that's happening, this is the thing, is that all the entities that were around were looking like, oh shit. Oh, they're literally, some of them are like, oh shit. Like excited as hell. And some of them scared, but most of them excited as hell and happy as shit. They're like super happy. They're like, oh shit, he's here. They kept saying like he's here. Oh my God, he's awakened type shit. He's here, he's awakened. And I'm thinking like, what the fuck are these motherfuckers talking about? No idea about no Falcon. Don't give a fuck about no Egypt. Ain't reading none of these books. I don't know none of that, right? So I'm just going with it. And then the significance of this trip was then at the end, after all that, at the end of that, well, after that's when the enemy came. Well, that's not part important. See, I'm gonna tell you the whole trip. But at the end, it told me very distinctly, straight to my face, no ifs, ands, or buts. It said, and just like the Matrix, pretty much, follow the Falcon. And mind you, motherfucker, Falcon ain't my favorite goddamn animal. Not at the time. I mean, now it is. What you talking about, boy? That shit amazing. But at the time, it was like a tiger. You know what I'm saying? Something vicious, like, you know what I mean? People talking about spirit animals, but your higher self got animal components to it. Your higher self got, mine's the Falcon. You don't choose your spirit animal. You either are or aren't. It's part of your genetics. My favorite animal was a tiger, but my higher self animal is a falcon. When there's more, that should go deep. But that's, it's the basics of it. So what happens? Now, something astonishing happens, because I don't know how this go. The second I wake up from that experience, I wake up to a text from my father who don't text, bro. Like he don't text, like he older, like he don't do none of that. He don't even text me. But I wake up to a text in the morning and it's a picture of a Falcon and a stealth jet. And it said that the stealth jet was inspired by the peregrine falcon and how it goes down or whatever. At high speeds, if you know about the Falcon, how it folds its wings when it goes down, it gets into the stance. But they look very similar. And I'm like, what the fuck, first of all? Because it said follow the Falcon. That's how it ended. And I wake up to this, a picture of a Falcon from my father. It's crazy, dog. And then boom, I get on my computer in Discord. The first picture that come up is, these people posting shit. It was a bunch of Anunnaki. Like I was saying, I felt like one of those. Because they had the wings and shit too. I'm like, oh, so they the Falcon? Is there some Falcon shit? They don't look like Falcons. They don't, and something didn't feel right about it because a lot of this intuition, and you think that's bullshit but those breadcrumbs are sent from you from the other side. So you follow the intuition. It's your higher self guiding you, because really your higher self is guiding you, or your future higher self is guiding your lower self and your younger higher self to become the higher self. You know what I mean? It's a whole thing. It's complicated to put into this words here. You know. Trying to keep it basic. So anyways, so it's just synchronicities out the motherfucking ass, bro. Fuck your 444, fuck your 111, bro. I'm sorry. Your 1111 can suck my 11. You know what I'm talking about? So because what, bro? I'm talking about there's Falcon shit had flooded the algorithm, and you have to think not just on my computer, but just in my life. We're driving, and there's a Falcon that's driving. I kid you not, right next to my car, and it looks into the window like this, eye level. My dad, like, what the fuck is going on? I'm freaking out because, why is this Falcon? Anyways, but boom, but it, I'm getting synchronicities everywhere I'm going. I'm just seeing Falcon stuff, and I don't know how to put it together, but it's overwhelming to the point where it's freaking me out. It's way too much. And then of course, I don't really remember all the synchronicities at the time because that was so long ago, but it was out the ass, and I was new to this, and to the point where it was like, this is not a joke, and I just ended my trip like that, so with it saying that. So I ended up boom. So like I started getting these Falcon things popping up. So then I'm like, what is this Ankh? And so the Egyptians with the Falcon. Oh, I remember they do got Falcon people or whatever. And then I seen this, but it kept popping up, this Ankh, but it's an Ankh of horse, Ankh of horse, Ankh of horse. You know what I mean? Bro, I'm telling you, no matter where I went, I'll be on my phone, I'll be on TikTok, I'll be on a random Chinese app. That shit's popping up everywhere. And it's a shitty site ain't nobody ever go to, bro, which is so weird. So it's not like this guy's paying for advertisement, is what I'm saying. But boom, and I'm like, fucking, I bought the stupid ass necklace thing, bro. I swear to God. And it's an Ankh with the Falcon in the middle of it, the Falcon of horse, the Ankh of horse. I'm like, bro, this horse guy, but you feel it. And now I'm in the trail of Egypt and following this Egypt stuff. Why? Because I activated this Ankh. Why is this important? Because when I activated the Ankh, it showed me all this Egypt stuff. Egypt, pyramids everywhere. The mushroom is the Ankh, or in Egypt, all this stuff, hieroglyphics everywhere. What the fuck? Now I'm getting the Egypt shit. So I'm putting the Falcon with the Egypt shit now. You see what I'm saying? And then now there's a bunch of breadcrumbs. I'm like random shit. Like I hear a video of a guy I respect who's in this game. There's very few of them. Say something under his breath about the Falcon. And mind you, it's not like Kundalini didn't say stuff about the higher self and all this shit. It's just it go over your head, man. I watch all his shit. It's too high information. It don't connect. Even when I'm talking to you right now, probably might not even fucking connect. Why? Because it's too much. It's like I'm talking about higher dimensional things. It's definitely gonna go over people's heads, and I'm not mad. It went over mine. It's just the more you do this, the more the information get with you. You can rewatch these type of things. These things are timeless. It's not like episode 1 could be episode 20 and it would still be the same. But anyways, so I follow this. I activated the joint. Show me all the Egypt stuff. And then the next big event was when I activated this bad boy for the first time. Yes, this Falcon. Well, when I got it, because I'm following the Falcon. You know what I'm saying? I think at this time I pretty much had a good idea, but I didn't believe it. It's not like what happened when I activated this happened. So let me get into it. I'm not gonna get in again to the whole trip, but the purpose of it. Why? And this is why I think the objects are so important. Again, this crystal is always working in the background at the time, and it gets more into play later. But when I activated this amazing, bro, I love it. This is like my Pikachu. Stop playing with me. I love this thing so much. This thing's amazing, though. So first of all, when I activated, this thing starts spinning on its own. The blade starts spinning on its own. And then, but immediately, I'm talking about right when I held it, it activated. I never activated nothing in my life. It's my first weapon I activated. But he takes over, dog. Why? Because, like I said, it's my Pikachu. So when he, so how, what's, it's like Thor getting his hammer back. What, you don't think that's gonna jog his memory? It's like Ash Ketchum getting his Pikachu back. You see what I'm trying to tell you? So when I get this, the memories flood. Not only do the memories flood, but I embody him completely. Well, first when I activate it, it starts spinning, and then I see him for the first time, like in his transdimensional form. He like savage, bro, savage ass Falcon, dog, with the mask on, and boom, walking like a warrior, like a predator. He remind me of the Predator type shit. Like, just they downplay him here, bro, because he got the armor on, he got the slick shit on, he got the weapons on and everything. Here he look, even in this joint, he looked like just regular. I don't know, but not like that. So he walking, boom, 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 and when he walked towards me, I guess it's like he went in me or something. But that's when I'm trying to tell you, like, your brain change. It's like a transformation or something. And I was him 100%. And he, like a super alien. Remember, it's like the cicada growing up. But the cicada was Heru. And Heru, boom. So, and he go in and he starts speak. First of all, he's super excited to hold this. He's marveling at it like you wouldn't believe. He's going crazy. We in the forest. And he's jumping around going crazy. Oh my God, he's saying in another language. I can't believe it. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Oh my God. And then he started going savage predator mode, dog. Cause I'm a warrior. Like a stupid savage warrior, dog. A transdimensional super warrior. Go out there and go crazy. Chopping heads off of aliens. So he out here literally talking about kill, kill, kill. Oh wait, this might get me banned. That's what you're saying. Well, I could change the word. No, you go, because it's the other language. Here's the other language. Are, 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 are. This is a prop, by the way. These ritual daggers ain't sharp, by the way, so don't get no sharp thing. If you think that's what I'm doing, these are not sharp. See, not sharp, not sharp. No ritual daggers or any objects of power are sharp. Let's make that clear. Because I know you see shit here that may look like it. No, I'm not going in with sharp objects. That's silly, stupid. Never do that. So, anyways, gotta make that clear. Anyways, you go into predator mode. Ada. His brain different. It's like being, I don't know, dog, like an animal who's bloodthirsty and just wants to chop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never felt like that in my life. It was real. I mean, it's like that always now. I mean, it's like not to get on that. But he want to kill demon, and he want to kill demons. He's talking about kill demons. He want to kill demons. But the whole thing was that I've never, like, he really was. I mean, I really embodied every aspect: the walking, the talking, the language, the way he speak. He throwing up signs. He going crazy. And yeah, and then it threw me out there, and I fought as him with this dagger. Yes, sir, for the next 5 hours. But over there's no time, so it was like 40,000 years. I had to fight my way out the underworld, and there was no way I was coming back here unless I fought my way out. In that time, I fought like 300,000 entities, bro. I swear to you, all different types. Everything you can imagine, bro. I fought everything, bro. There's so many situations. I can go into that trip forever. You know what I'm talking about? But that's not what this is about. But the whole thing is that, yes, and then not only did I become and embody him and all that, but I actually went there and fought and utilized his abilities, because immediately you a master. That was the most mind-blowing experience I ever had in my entire life. I don't give a fuck. I didn't want to go all the way into the dagger, but I had to say this because it verifies it. When something's in your actual hand, bro, and it's doing actual shit in your hand that you could never do when you've never held a dagger. I was scared of it. I thought it would sharpen my damn self. And then like you're going crazy with it and doing shit no one's ever, you can't even find no one doing here. And that's my whole thing. And I'm doing it and then it slowly coming back. Here, downloading. Not that slow. So let me take that back. But yeah. Because I'm like, how's that possible? I'm sorry. If that happened to you, you had a any weapon, you I don't care. You had nunchucks. You never used nunchucks, and you go doing shit no one's ever done. You doing a handstand while the nunchuck fly in the air. You catch it with your toe, flip that down. These are the things that are going on. Crazy shit I can't even explain, bro. But imagine you do that and you never held a nunchuck in your life. Okay, and then it's showing you that you this thing. Okay, so yeah, huge event, biggest event ever. People try to copy it, and it's disrespectful because it's the big one of my biggest events. And this is early in the game, bro, I'm telling you. So yeah, that was huge. And then finally to hammer home who I was, right? Because that's cool. I feel like I'm Heru. I seen the Falcon guy, but he didn't say his name was Heru or nothing. But it looked like him because you want to be 100% sure. You claiming to be something, bitch. You better like, you should be skeptical about your damn self. You know what I'm saying? Why? You know what I mean? I was skeptical on my own. I couldn't believe it. I was analyzing every fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? I could go forever about the synchronicities that connect me and Heru, from the name to everything. It don't matter, like I said, because all these synchronicities have been let, and it's still going on forever today. It don't matter. It's even crazier right now. Right now, I could go ham and tell you shit that been happening the last fucking week. For real. So, but that's besides the point because it's already over with. So now for the final one, this is the pretty much the coup de grace where I was like, all right, I was I was already sold by this point. I already pretty much knew. I was like 98%. You know what I mean? Um, I was already telling certain people. So I go to this Detroit psychedelic conference where I thought I was gonna meet Kalindi, but he unfortunately had passed beforehand. Why? Because I wanted to meet people who did similar things, had similar experiences, like I said, and like you seen it even in my trip report over there in that 5 grams, I couldn't even find anyone that had anything close to that, but they did. So I went over there to go see and go talk to some people and see what's up. So then, the reason why I said that is because I had questions about higher selves. And I went there and I was asking about this exact topic. I said, people got a higher self. What the fuck is going on? I'm in disbelief because the only reason I asked it because it was happening to me. I'm not asking it because I read it somewhere. I'm not asking it because somebody told me. I'm asking it because I'm experiencing some of the most savage shit that I've ever heard or seen anywhere. I don't know, anime, nothing. I don't give a fuck. So I'm trying to see what's going on. And then I thought back of the first thing I said, how I first heard of it, how about his son. So yeah, so I'm asking around, and let's just say I got my answers. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So these people like they're saying it by name type shit. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. So then when I go home, I'm like, okay, I pretty much got it, right? So I go home, and like Kalindi said, you want to ask these 3 questions or 4. Paraphrase, don't hit me on this, but it's who am I? Who am I? Where do I come from? Where do I come from? Where am I going? And what am I here to do? Those are like the 4 most main existential questions. And this one, who am I, is we're talking about your highest self, at least at this level. I mean, but this, it's the core. It's who you are. It's what your name of your soul. The name of my soul is Heru Nektash. You know what I'm saying? That's the name of my soul. And it's a sovereign soul connected, not connected to everybody. A quick note on that before I give the last one. The way it goes is your soul is a sovereign entity in the mystery. It comes from magic. And as it stands and as it's there, there's all types of things out in those realms. But there's not that much benevolence as much as you would like to think in those realms, in the darkness, in the triple thick darkness. So what happened was a bunch of benevolent souls, because they're sovereign, ended up coming together. That's why there's no father, there's no son. No one's your father out there or none of that type of shit. You know, it may look like that. You may be put into positions that you and put yourselves in certain positions, but in all actuality, if you're a soul, you're sovereign, you're alone, and it's you and your information. You have your own information, and your higher self has his own information. You know, so I want to make that clear. So, and then, so when souls come together, that becomes a family, a few souls, and then a few more souls come together, or you know, different groups. So then you got a house. Then you got houses, you know what I mean? And it becomes a hive mind. Whatever, getting deep. But I'm just saying, this is the information, bro. How do I'm just making this shit up? This is the experience. This is what is being told and shown. So let's finish. Who am I? So I went into another trip, high dose. I forgot what this one was. And on this one, you know, to the core point of it and what we're dealing with, I simply asked one of those questions, and that is, of course, who am I? But in this instance, I done screamed that bitch. I screamed to the top of my lungs. I said, who am I? Because I was frustrated, because I felt like I knew, but I wasn't 100% sure. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of Falcon dudes there. And then a dude that I seen at the conference, actually, I didn't talk to him, but he came up in the trip and he's like, you don't know who you are? He's like, oh, dog, wait till you find out, dog. Oh, shit. And then I boosted upward like in hyperspeed, like in X drive, fume, like on some Star Trek shit, like I'm teleporting or something. Fume those lines. And then as I'm going up, I'm going to skip that part, as I always do, because some shit was happening as I was going up. Just think of it as a lot of initiatory respect was being shown. That's all I'm gonna say. But when I got all the way whatever to the top, or finished this warp thing, I'm sitting on the chair as my higher self, fully my future higher self, Heru the Elder. Why are they distinctly different? Because you got Heru, who the Falcon dude, which is just me. You see them too. It's just like when I see Heru the Elder, he's just me with longer dreads, swoller, a little bit older, perfecter face, fixed teeth, with more savage clothes on and shit like that. Like you see them, bro, and they look vicious. That's why I said the shit they have on the walls is code, because they look way more vicious over there. But I'm literally sitting there, and I'm sitting next to Asar. So it's Heru sitting next to Asar. Asar in his full form. He had the hat thing and everything. He right there. So much there, you know. So much there that my Heru the Elder is talking to Asar, but in the Falcon language. And when so Heru speak the Falcon language, and he was doing it when I first activated the dagger, which was crazy. But I didn't really speak it that much at that point. But here he's going crazy, super fluent. I mean, very elegant. And the difference between the younger and the older, like Heru more nasally, the younger, like Heru Nektash, well, and Heru the Elder more like more like the more ancient and mystical or something. He'd be like, Heru Nektash. I don't know. Yeah, I can't even hit it. Yo, he sounds so savage when they do it. Both of them. You know what I mean? You know, so it's like the younger higher self and the ego going together to become that older higher self who's sitting on this chair, who's sitting next to Sar right there. But he really pulling the strings. You know what I'm saying? And giving the advice and everything. But it's me too. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing, the Trinity. But the Trinity more complicated. You know what I'm saying? You could talk about this stuff literally forever. You know, I'm trying to be general. I'm sorry if I lose people because I'm going deep in the weeds here. But I'm just popping the information. Get back with it another time. This ain't going nowhere. So sitting there and I gotta skip this point, but you know, personal. But he's sitting there speaking, and I'm sitting there like this, like the little kid or something, like the Father is speaking. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and I'm just listening, but I don't know nothing of what they're saying. Other than at one point, basically, this is what I was saying. He was apologizing for missing an event. Basically, that's all I said. But very apologetic to Asar, and I'm saying, "Hey, Heru, okay." And there's other people in this room, but I'm just giving the major event. Um, but yeah, that was it because they just kept talking for a minute, and I'm sitting there not knowing what they're saying, although it's speaking through me, like I'm saying the shit, and it sounds so crazy and elegant. He kind of moving his hands like mystical. You see how I'd be doing it sometimes because it's just in me. You know what I mean? You do it enough, but this is a while ago. Now you have to think. This is how I found out who I was. So at this point now, it's no ifs, ands, or buts. Oh, and to feel fully cement. I don't know if it was that. It was like a trip right after that. I had the mask on right there. That's a whole nother episode. But when you put it like the movie The Mask, but in this instance, it was a low dose. I remember, because I was so scared. Oh, there's a little after. I was so scared or something. It's basically how I got my name because you don't just make up the name, bro. And the names, that's a whole Dan Air episode on its own, but they're titles. It's about doing shit on the other side. You should be able to explain your name. It's Ungongo Heru Nektash. Those are all titles. You know what I mean? Titles that I identify with. Because people will give you all types of titles and ranks and this. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I care about my names. Ngongo Heru Nektash. You know what I'm saying? But that was given to me when I put on the mask and I looked into the mirror. And he gave me my martial stance and then spoke because one, you feel it, you embody it. Two, when it come out, your vocal, it don't sound like how I'm talking right now. Even when I tried it, that's like 1% of how they sound. But it go fully in it, and then he said Heru Nektash. Yeah, boy. I said, what the fuck? And ever since it's been that, always been called that. And you remember, you're like, yeah, duh. It's my name, bitch. Fuck. So, people get offended. There's a lot of charlatans who try to act like they got a higher self, and you ask them these basic questions like, what's your name? They get offended. Just make sure you know that it's cat. It's like me. There's no difference of me asking your name right now and me asking your higher self name. That's really what's going on right now. Really, in actuality, they're the same name. That's how much it is the same. So, anyways, hey, that's how I found out who my higher self was. And you have to understand now it's more about remembering everything about myself. Whether it goes to the dance, the martial arts, to the hand sign, and what they do. Because just because I have them don't mean I know everything about them. I only know like 0.01% about them. And I've only used 0.01% of their power. Because everything from the martial art to the dance, everything goes on forever. So I'm going to be on this ride forever. Always increasing my skill and ability of the things that I'm trying to explain here. And proof that is the higher self being downloaded down. Because it's the higher self being downloaded down. It's the shit we doing over there. You're getting 1%, then 2%, then 3%. The more and more you go, you download it more and more until, I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is how you become the superhero. Is by downloading, going for 2%, 3%. It's the download. But you download to become a super being, not a superhero. Superhero is just the baby steps. That's the baby shit. Y'all are not even believing in that the baby shit's real. What there's shit after that, and after that, and after that, and after that. You know what I'm saying? Like Clinty told me on the other side. He said, "What you are is much more powerful than the Black Panther." Meaning, a soul ain't just no superhero in a simulation with some superpower. No, it's the super being, and this is how you become it. This is the way you upload your lower self into the higher self and download your higher self to your lower self. Because there is no beginning. You find out there's no beginning, and there is no end. You don't come. I mean, there was no. You was always Heru. You just playing this game. Ain't no this thing attached to me. You was always Heru. It's like a joke almost. You know what I'm saying? So. But, anyone, I'm not scared and no, I'm not here to even like convince. I'm just saying I'm trying to put it on the table as something that's actually going on, and there's massive amount of information that I'm delivering to you with experience that is backing it, that I would like to at least people will take a look. One, because I think it's absolutely fantastic and amazing. I think that discovering who your higher self is not only drives the story, because it begins the story as you've seen, came out the egg, boom, then this, then became Heru the Young, met boom, 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 trip at the trip at the trip at the trip. How you gonna tell me it's a hallucination? If it happened one time at some point in my trip and I had a little feeling, then that's nonsense. Well, I don't even want to call it nonsense, but it could be someone's beginning. But this is a story. This is why you keep going back and you're going often. And mine's only beginning. Finding out who you are is just the fucking beginning. Then you go travel as it. People always say, "Oh, I found out that I was God or whatever on mushrooms." Well, then go be that. Go be that conscious thing that's traveling go travel the multiverse. And then you're going to find out who you are. There's no way around it. You know what I mean? Because when something presses you, you're going to have to step up as who you are. So that stuff going to come out, you know? So what I'm saying is, bro, like, it's bigger than what you guys think. It's bigger than even what I'm saying or thinking. You know what I mean? But these things are actually happening. You know, Heru is here, Wajet is here, the other ones is here. I don't even want to say their names. People in hide, and this shit again for the 100 millionth time was secret, but understand that is real. You're only gonna see more and more and more. Get on the train before the sun eclipse, and again, not just me. See, if it's just me talking, that's cool, but it ain't just me. That's the issue. And you're getting raw experiences. We ain't sitting out here we ain't got time to sit here politic and make up all this bullshit. I just collected experiences over a long period of time, enough so that I could then bring it in a respectful way without rushing it. So yeah, so what are we saying here? Yes, so in conclusion, yes, the higher self is an actual entity. Yes, we're dealing with the same aspects and things that go on in all these spiritual systems and religions. No matter what you're talking about, you're still pointing to what I'm talking about, but this is just a complete set. This solves the Trinity thing, and it's actually more complicated than the Trinity, but at a base level, it's correct. And I'm, like I said, I'm just in the beginning, but it's so deep, bro. There's things I can't say, bro, and how deep this shit is. It's not just, oh, I found out who my higher self was. How incredible. No, bro. It's a whole sophistry of remembrance. If you're a warrior, you go through warrior shit, real war, real shit. There's real meetings that you have to go to, because if you really Thor, you're going to be at meetings in Asgard, bro. You're going to be sitting at that round table politicking about transdimensional shit. A lot of the shit that I deal with is shit that had nothing to do with this dimension. We politicking about the multiverse, bitch. Y'all still talking about this 3D shit. And we still deal with some of the stuff here. But to think that this all important thing is a joke. And yes, these higher self entities exist outside of the simulation, outside of this everything is one thing that you guys again are obsessed with. But it begins out there. It begins when you find out who your higher self is. And the journey of remembrance is the greatest journey I could have ever asked for, bro. I'm doing things and going places that no man has ever gone to, no man has ever experienced before. You can't pay for this type of shit. And it seems to be largely genetic, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it. And everybody at a different vantage point. But to say that this VR thing, being Heru, traveling the multiverse, going on adventures like Rick and Morty as this, the shit they said was fake, the shit they said was fantasy, but overall legendary with temples out there of it. I mean, bro, I'm sorry. I can't be depressed. It's impossible. And every day I work to be the future higher self. What greater motivation other than him, your higher self, knowing that life goes on and you move on as an entity in another realm and space of a dimension. You pick up where you left off, where you go back where you were before you came here. There's bigger stories going on. It's amazing. It's incredible. I wish for everybody to go on this journey, you know what I mean? and see for yourself. And if it click and if it happens, more power to you. You know, we need the Avengers. If anyone gave a more plausible way to become a superhero, find me it, because I think this might be it. And I think some people are already, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, this stuff is world changing. It's just, got to keep pushing, got to keep pioneering. More people got to do it. Let's say if 1,000 people are doing the higher self thing, it would be a much greater help when it comes to being taken seriously and having data. Of course, I'm trying to bring as much irrefutable visual evidence, and I'm always going to keep bringing more and working on more stuff, So, hey, y'all, thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this at least interesting. I hope it piqued your intrigue. If you're laughing, I hope I can make you laugh. If you think it's ridiculous, hey, always battle my logic proposition that I put out there about DMT being released when you die and then taking you to the other side. Please, y'all gotta help me, dog. Like and subscribe to push this. The algorithm not gonna push this information, my G. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do everything I can. I'm just getting started, just getting the filming right. I'm just getting the lighting, bro, my setup right. There's a work in progress. I have unlimited information and things to talk about. I'm still in the middle of the game. I got a million ideas. I hope to get more entertaining, bring more different fun, cool stuff that's always backed with high dose information, bro. Cause I'm gonna stand on this. This is the hill I'm willing to die on. But they can't get me, boy. So what's up with it? You hear me? Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I love y'all. Keep supporting, bro. And the truth is here, baby. Come join it's green on this side of the grass. And we just getting started. Anyway, goodbye. Thank you.